What's up, Vintage Wine Club? We are in the month of June, and this month's wine region is Sonoma County, California. So, for those of you who don't know where Sonoma County is, it is literally right to the west of Napa County or Napa Valley. And this is a region that is right along the Pacific coast. So, there's going to be a lot of ocean influence in this California wine region. When a lot of us think of California wine region, we think of a warmer, hotter climate because we think about we think about Casas Robles, we think about the Napa Valley, we think about these places that are inland and benefit from a rain shadow effect because they're sandwiched in between mountain ranges and in these dry valleys where they're very heat retentive. But with Sonoma County, a lot of the wine region is out and along the coast. So what we get is more cool air coming in from the Pacific Ocean. And what that does, it cools down the grow days, it allows the grow days to be longer, and it allows the fruit to ripen on the vine for longer. It also creates a more complex wine, in my opinion. It creates a wine that isn't all about fruit. There's minerality to the wine, there's a little bit of spice. You're still going to get some oak influence in these wines. And for this month, we are featuring a lovely Sauvignon Blanc from Matanzas Creek Winery in Sonoma. And I'm going to start off with the red wine of the month, which is the Edge Cabernet Sauvignon from Alexander Valley within Sonoma County. So right off the bat, I'm going to look at this wine, and definitely still has a nice solid ruby color like a lot of cabs would. Let's see if it drinks like your classic California Cabernet or if it drinks a little differently. So I'm still getting a lot of new oak on the nose in this wine. What does that mean? That means flavors like vanilla, some baking spice flavors like nutmeg, cardamom, hazelnut, other flavors like even a little bit of a dark cocoa note, which is usually a flavor of the wood, the French oak, rather than a flavor of the fruit itself. Let's give it a taste. So right off the bat, I'm getting a good amount of alcohol in this wine, still a decent amount of power. This is a California style Cabernet Sauvignon, but it doesn't feel like a high super tannic alcoholic Cabernet like a lot of them can be done in Napa Valley. And that is because, again, it's a little closer to the coast. It's a slightly cooler climate than that of its Napa County next door, and because of that, I'm also getting some vegetalness in this wine. A little bit of like roasted red pepper, a little bit of black pepper, definitely some Italian spice going on, maybe a little basil, a little bit of sage, even a slight hint of floralness, like a eucalyptus note, which tends to be common for a lot of California Cabernets. There actually is eucalyptus plants that do grow nearby a lot of these California style vineyards. But again, this is a cab that isn't overwhelming. It's still delicious. A lot of ripe red fruit, red cherry, red blackberry, blueberry, all that good stuff. So an assortment of red black fruit and a wine that would go really nicely with a filet, a really lean cut of steak, but also, being that this is a slightly lesser intense Cabernet for California, I would love this with a nice juicy burger, like a bacon burger done medium rare, some truffle fries on the side, and I will be a happy person. So once again, for the red wine this month, we're in Sonoma County. It is the Edge 2017 Cabernet Sauvignon. We hope you enjoy it.
All right, we'll jump into the white wine for June, which is the Matanzas Creek Winery Sauvignon Blanc, still out of Sonoma County. Sauvignon Blanc originated out of France, and so it used to be a lot more herbal, very green flavors in there, and then it really migrated into the New World, especially in California, but you'll find it around Australia and New Zealand and Chile, South Africa, and so it's very prevalent in New World countries. It's actually a parent of Cabernet Sauvignon, which is kind of interesting. It's a very old grape, but it's in California, especially in Sonoma, it's going to be a little bit more fruit forward than you'd find in the French versions. Right off the bat, you get a very astringent herbal smell, which it honestly can be described as cat pee, which is not very appealing, but the nicer way to say it is asparagus. So definitely asparagus heavy on the nose, very green and herbal. A little bit of passion fruit sneaking in there. Maybe some pineapple too, like unripe pineapple. you can tell that the acidity is going to be nice and high too. That jumps right out of the glass at you. Yep, on the palate it's going to be mouth-watering. Sauvignon Blanc tends to have that really high acidity, very light-bodied. It can be fuller-bodied. This in particular is very light and refreshing, very crisp. Would be great to have on any patio, barbecue, anything like that is going to be perfect. It's going to match to really anything. A little bit more grapefruit forward on the palate, maybe some green fruit, green apple, things like that. A little bit of floral, a little bit of white blossom. That asparagus kind of carries through into the palate as well. Nice and dry, but yeah, very refreshing from that high acidity. So overall, very iconic representation of Sauvignon Blanc out of Sonoma. And yeah, that's the white out of Sonoma County for June.